Hello everybody. Not very often I show my face, but it's a very special day. As you'll notice, I'm wearing a maroon beret. It is for the South Staffords, which is who I've been basing my airborne vlog on. And of course, if you look what day it is, it's when this comes out, it's the 17th of September, which is the 80th anniversary of Operation Market Garden starting. Very interesting, very exciting. I can't wait. I've got big things planned for you. 9 days worth of videos. Yep. Every day this week for 9 days I will be posting a video about a different person, subject. It's all market garden related. So it's for one of each day for the battle, pretty much, of the British Airborne in the through Arnhem in the used to beat pocket as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing it. The stress has been tremendous, but it's all been worth it. These guys had to fight. I'm just making videos. So yeah, tonight's video to mark the 80th anniversary, I will explain to you what Market Garden was, and yeah, so I've got a book here with a map in it, a big map. My mate Lucy bought me this for Christmas last year. She said I was not going to find it useful. It's come in great handy, so cheers, Lucy. So yeah, I'm going to take you through this step by step, what happened, try and keep it as short as possible. We know I ramble quite a lot. And yeah. And then hopefully you non-history people who just sit and watch the painting part of it, or the learning about the people, they'll know about Market Garden. So I hope you enjoy. And I'm in the front bedroom today, not the back bedroom, because the sun's in the right place. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. So stay tuned during the week. I'll try and get everything uploaded before 8 o'clock in the evening, because I'll be working. If I can do it earlier, I'll do it, but I'll be sharing it on my social platforms what's going down. So on with the video. Hello everybody. So I said I'd be reading from a book. This book in particular is called World War II Map by Map, forwarded by Peter Snow, by DK Books, or publishing. Can't remember. It's publishing. It's not important. Anyway, so this is the map of Holland. So why were they dropping in Holland? Well, Field Marshal Montgomery decided that he had an idea to end the war by Christmas, potentially. And that was to capture several bridges over the Rhine River and get into Germany that way from the north, and potentially ending the war a lot sooner. The Dutch resistance had pretty much been telling them from the start that there was a lot of German presence in that whole sector. It depends who you want to believe, whether they ignored it or whether they just didn't believe the intel, or whether, they just knew and carried on anyway. From reading about it, I feel like maybe it's a little bit of all of it. They were pulling the pants down of the Germans pretty much from D-Day onwards. These guys had just been steamrolled in Europe, so I think a little bit of arrogance came into it there. However, Field Marshal Montgomery, the one who started the planning for all this, then gave it to be planned by Boy Browning, who, Browning then decided, I'm going to do it all. It's kind of like giving somebody something to do at work, but not exactly telling them what your idea was in the first place. But anyway, we'll get onto that in another video. So, quite simply, British 30 Corps, which was the tank detachment of Market Garden, they were the garden element, would start off from down here, and they would then travel up this big road all the way up to Arnhem, cross Arnhem there, and get over into Germany this way. That's the plan. So the market part of it would be the airborne part of it. So you had the 101st Airborne falling here and here to capture these big bridges. There was several little other bits here. And then you had the 82nd Airborne would be landing here to capture the bridge at Nijmegen, Maas and Graaf. Also the Groesbeek Heights, which would be, as you can see here, the Germans would want to take this, and it was sort of seen as a very crucial part of terrain. We'll get onto that into another video. And then the bridge at Nijmegen would be the crossing before the bridge here at Arnhem, where the 1st Airborne Division, the British 1st Airborne Division, would be landed, where my boy Robert Kane would be landing, and that's where he would earn his, well, he'd be there at Oosterbeek where he'd win his Victoria Cross, but we'll get onto that again in another video. So this all seems fairly simple. It's not. A lot went wrong. I had to start where it went wrong. This is a single track road for the most of the part of it. You can maybe get 2 tanks down it abreast, and the Germans pretty much just before Eindhoven here, where the 101st Airborne captured, all this road here was just full of Germans, and they were blowing tanks up willy-nilly. So it slowed them down getting into Eindhoven. The 101st Airborne's, to say it's a little bit boring to learn about this part, it's because they did so well. They captured pretty much everything they needed to capture. They did their job. To say it's boring is a bit of an insult, but you know what I mean. So then, once the 30 Corps got to here, so everything's hunky-dory and fine. Got through Eindhoven, a lot of crap here, a lot of moving up this road again, same thing, tanks getting knocked out. It's known as Hell's Highway for a reason. It really was a nasty place for 30 Corps to fight, which then would lead them up to the 82nd Airborne. So the 82nd Airborne captured pretty much everything apart from Nijmegen Bridge. General Gavin, who was in charge of the 82nd Airborne, thought that Groesbeek, which was one of his ordered places, he had to take Groesbeek Heights, was more important to have all of his force there than to even bother going into Nijmegen for at least a couple of days, which would leave the Germans to fortify Nijmegen and make it virtually impossible to get through in any quick order. Again, I'll talk more about this because it's a hot topic. I'm looking forward to that video, and I'm looking forward to hearing what everybody's got to say about that video. But Nijmegen wasn't captured. General Gavin said about the 30 Corps when they got there, 30 Corps were 36 hours late. It wouldn't have mattered because he didn't take Nijmegen Bridge, so they were always going to be delayed either way. Anyway, I'm getting angry about Gavin. So the whole thing is everybody would be moving out and up towards each other. The 82nd Airborne would then be supporting 30 Corps, who were the Guards Armoured Division and amongst other regiments, and they would be helping them to get to Arnhem here. So Arnhem, we'll talk about Arnhem a little bit more. So the British part of the plan was to have 3 separate drops over 3 days, because the RAF knew that there was a lot of flak here at Arnhem. So they didn't want to drop everybody in all in one go, or just keep doing round trips into Arnhem. So they landed them somewhere up here, about 8 miles away from their objective, and hoped that they would get there, pretty much. Again, we'll cover the whys later. But a lot of the British forces was separated. So because they had so many drops over so much time, Urquhart really had to split his forces into tinier forces to hold the landing zones. So these chaps coming in the following days, and they would have somewhere to go. The supplies would be dropped at these points as well, so they needed to defend them. So it was a piecemeal attempt, really, on the day to get pretty much towards Arnhem Bridge. John Frost and his second paras, they got to Arnhem Bridge. They were the only ones to get to the actual bridge and hold it, whilst Urquhart built up his force and strength and tried to come in and support them. But because so much time had elapsed between, the Germans had realised what the objective was, and the whole plan, which was actually found in a crashed American glider. I believe it was an American glider. So the Germans knew what they wanted to do. So they counterattacked at all the key points that were needed to be captured. And John Frost held on for a number of days, pretty much just his battalion, horrendous casualties, until he was overrun. Then you had good old Roy Urquhart. If you watched The Bridge Too Far, the film, you'd know that one. He held the pocket in Oosterbeek, because Oosterbeek is a little town, a village on the outside of Arnhem. He only managed to hold that. That's as far as he got. And they were forced back into a pocket over the next few days, and just carnage and heroicism, because these guys held on for dear life to try and get the objective. And it wasn't till, I think it was the night of the 24th or the morning of the 25th that it was all decided that they were going to be pulled out of Oosterbeek. The Polish airborne, because they're part of the operation, in theory, by the time the Polish had dropped on the third day, which they didn't, they ended up dropping on the fourth day, as I believe, here at Driel, and I think there was another little land zone here. There was also, I don't have a better map, but all of this would have been captured by 30 Corps, in theory, or they would be catching it. But of course, the plans were captured by the Germans. The Germans were able to counterattack, fortify Nijmegen. All these red lines are bloody Germans attacking, panzer groups coming in. So yeah, they got pretty much banged up there, but tried to cross the river. If you've watched the Sosabowski video, you'll know about his exploits. So pretty much that's Arnhem in a nutshell. I know I ramble. I don't have the technical expertise to give you a map and interactiveness. I'm just not technically knowledgeable. I thought I'd sit here and chat to you about it and give you a little bit of a start of what I'm going to be doing. So there is 9 days worth of videos. Tomorrow will be the first in a very, very long time of my medics of the airborne hobby vlog. So yeah. So then you've got one from today, the 17th, all the way through down. I've even put one on the 26th, the day after the operation finished. So yeah, I really hope you stick around for it, and I'll try not to ramble as much as I've rambled now. And I hope you get kind of an overview of the operation and a bit of context for what's coming. So I really hope you enjoyed this as much as you could. And I'll speak to you tomorrow.